Alright everybody, we're bringing back the Spanish guitar vibe. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make those Spanish guitar beats all from scratch in FL Studio. Make sure to watch the whole video because I will be showing you guys all the techniques from the VST, the MIDI, some cool tricks you can actually do to get a more realistic sound, the drums and the counter melody, like I said, pretty much everything. It's all going to be in a step-by-step way. So we're going to start off with the melody and then finish off with some crazy drums and really get that Spanish bounce. So let's not waste any more time, guys. Let's just jump right in. Alright, so we're now here in FL Studio 21. As you guys can see, first things first, we need to nail down a perfect Spanish guitar sound. So in this case, we're going to be using the Nylon Sky guitar over here in Omnisphere. It's from the Sonic Extensions. Seriously, one of the best guitars, especially if you guys are going for that Spanish vibe. So we're going to be rocking and rolling with this one right here. Just using the clean preset is pretty much the one that sounds the best. So if you want to follow along, make sure to use the same one because I will be showing you guys some super cool stuff you can actually do with the piano notes and the MIDI to really get that Spanish and unique sound out of this guitar VST right here. And seriously guys, this is honestly something you're not going to see in any sort of videos out there. Now the next thing we want to do is just adjust the BPM. For Spanish guitar beats, I actually like going for something below 100. So in this case, we're going to go for 95. And from here, we need to pick a scale. Now, this is sauce right here, guys. If you don't know, what I actually do when I go for Spanish guitar beats is actually to go for the minor harmonic scale. So this is actually going to give you another half step. And a lot of people tend to use this if they're going for like a super dark vibe. But if you just know how to place the notes correctly, honestly, you can get a super Spanish sound out of this. So we're just going to be using the G minor harmonic scale today. And then before we actually start putting the notes down, what we want to do is just lay a little bit of a foundation for the effects. So I just actually have this already made preset with effects on this first insert right here. It's a very simple preset. It's just kind of cleaning up a bit of the sound. And I pretty much just always use this when I go with a guitar VST. So it's just the NS1 to reduce some of the noise on that Nylon Sky guitar. And then we just have some simple EQ that I've already pre-made with some delay as well. RC20 103 preset without the noise. Seriously gonna give you that vintage feel. I highly recommend this. And then lastly, it's just a Roam to get a bit of reverb as well as this EQ to cut out the low end. So as you guys can see, the effects aren't anything crazy. They're just there to really clean up the sound before we even start going. Now, that's pretty much the foundation. From here, it's time that we actually add that pattern. So this is literally how you actually make that Spanish guitar sound. Since we are working in the G minor harmonic scale, let's simply start off with a note on the G4. With this note, I just want to extend it out so we have it on one bar right here. And since we are also working in a BPM lower than 100, I'm just going to make the pattern in this 4-bar pattern right here. So let's just make a minor chord. So we would skip this one and place one right there, skip this one and place one right here. Although since we are working in that minor harmonic, we can do some adjustments. So the first thing I'm going to do is just delete this middle note. We don't need that. And then I'm actually going to copy this up 1 octave so we have 3 notes. From here, we just want to extend these 2 out. So definitely with Spanish guitar vibes, you definitely want that finger style or finger picking guitar pattern. So you don't want these to be hitting at the same time. You want to make sure to strum them out so we can really get that finger picking type of vibe of this. So this is what we have right now. Let's build a little bit off of this. So I'm going to slice this one up in 2 and we can just pitch it up to the A this time. Or actually we want the A sharp because that's really what's going to give you that Spanish feel if you make sure to skip these notes yet again. If you want like that super dark vibe, you would usually just stack these half steps up. But since we're going for that Spanish sound, let's make sure that we actually are skipping the notes. So again, let's skip this one. Place one right there. So we're kind of just following that skipping and just placing basically. From here we can copy that over just to kind of get a more of a groove to this. And what I'm also doing is I'm actually slicing up some of these. As you can see, for the bottom notes, I like to extend them out all the way, but these top notes, I'm gonna make sure to actually slice them up and stop them because later we're gonna mess around with the velocity and that's actually gonna give us some more texture from the sound. It's kind of inbuilt into the VST, so this is seriously huge. Now from here, I just want to repeat some more notes. So let's just copy this over, and to make it have a bit smoother transition right here towards the end of the bar, I'm just going to go downwards again. So let's just slice this up as well. That's pretty much going to be our first bar right there. Now, what is really important that you guys do is that you go into the velocity and make sure to adjust this. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm seriously going crazy with the velocity. And the reason for this is just like I explained, it's going to give you a different texture. So like this note right here, I have it almost put down all the way in the velocity because it's almost going to give me a slapping type of sound. While this note right here is going to add more to that slide because I've pitched it up or kind of pushed the velocity up so high. So let's take a listen to the difference right now with the velocity adjusted. So as you can see guys, it's really going to give you that smooth texture. So from here, we're not really going to do anything crazy. Let's just copy this over and pitch it up by 5. So this time we're going to start on the C. From here again, let's kind of do the same thing that we did earlier. So just skipping this, placing one right there, skipping and placing one right there. Again, delete that middle note since we don't need it. And then from here, let's just build more and repeat this note again. Again, let's try to skip this and use this note. So far we have this right here. Again, we're just going to go in on this second part and adjust a little bit of that velocity. And I'm also cutting this short right here because it almost gives us that pull off on the finger type of sound as well. So it's really about the small details and all the characters you can pretty much find from the sound. Again, let's start building off of this on the third bar. Let's start with this D this time. Again, just kind of following the thing. So let's skip this one, put a note right there and just build off of the whole thing. I'm gonna try to add some more tension right here. So let's actually start using some more of these half steps as well, just so we can kind of relieve that stuff coming into the last bar. So this is pretty much the full pattern. So you can really see the awesome textures that we have on this third bar. And it's again really about the velocity. You kind of just have to mess around with it. You can really see how pitching this note almost all the way up on the velocity really gives that super unique Spanish slide up type of sound with a lot of notes kind of layered underneath with a little bit less velocity. It's just a really perfect combination that you're going for. Now in the end, we're kind of just pretty much doing the same thing as we did on the first and second bar. So that's sauce right there. Like I said guys, you're most likely not going to see this on other videos, so just make sure that you actually use these and utilize these steps so that you can really get that cool texture and character out of this guitar VST right here. It's really going to set you apart, and it's really going to make sure that those Spanish guitar beats hit super hard. Alright, the next thing we're going to do now is just add a little bit of a layer we can have on top or either in the back of this. So I actually went into Splice and I found this cool little phrase right here. So as you guys can hear, it's super detuned and it's kind of all over the place. But I feel like if I just chop this up correctly, it's going to fit so nicely with our guitar. Alright, so I did just chop it up on the first section, not really doing too much. I just copied it over twice. But this second part, I just pitched it down by 5 semitones. So you're kind of following the same thing that we're doing on the first section right there. So this is how it sounds right now. Then it just kind of loops. It's just, like I said, pitched down by 5 semitones. For the effects, I'm just adding a RC20 on the magnitude transition 1. With that, I'm also adding a little bit of EQ to just cut out the high frequencies, so we really make sure that it blends together. I think I'm also going to add a imager to this as well. So let's just open up that ozone imager, and I'll put them both on together so you guys can hear. And then I'm going to make sure to adjust the imager at the same time. Yeah, so this is definitely starting to sound super fire. Now I think we're going to add a bass to this so we can just add some more low end to this. For the bass, we're not going to overcomplicate anything. I'm just going to be using the Scarby bass right here in Contact. Let's put that on the third insert. And from here, we're just going to follow the root notes. So it's really that simple. We don't have to do too much with that bass. It's pretty much just to have that low end going as well. This might be better pitched up. From here, I also want to add some more perks just to fill out this sample. So I think one crucial thing you guys can do, I've seen this in a couple different Spanish beats as well, is you can just find a perk loop or some bongos, just kind of tuck them in the back, and it's going to sound super smooth, as well as it's going to give your beat a bit of a bounce just from the sample without even having to add the drums. So I'm just going to go into Splice and try to find one again. Right, so we have this perk right here. Just gives us a bit of a bounce, nothing too crazy. Also have this vocal from Splice right here. I'm gonna add this in these sections where we don't have this counter melody playing. So when we don't have this, we're gonna have the vocal with the guitar. Fire! Right, so that's pretty much going to be it for the sample right there. With all that being done, it's time that we add some drums. As for all the drum sounds I'm using, they're of course coming from both the Mirage multi-kit and the Motion bundle kit. So if you guys like any of the drum sounds you hear in this video, make sure to check out the kits. They're all on my website, which is BBMarko.com, or just click the two first links down below. You pretty much have everything you need to just copy me exactly the way I do. And all the drum sounds are super crispy and super hard, so it's pretty much going to elevate your beats to the next level. With all that being said, let's jump right into the drums. So we're just starting off with a simple clap right here. Let's get that bounce going. Now with this, we also want some chill and laid back hi-hats. So let's go with this one. I'm just gonna go in and actually turn the out knob up a bit, just so it's super crispy and chill. And for the hi-hat MIDI, what we're actually gonna do is just go over to the MIDI section right here and just drag in one that fits nicely with this type of bounce. Usually it's something that has a bit more space, I would say. So like this number 80, this is pretty much perfect. Lots of space. Doesn't get in the way of the guitar, so that's pretty much what's going to carry us through this. Just going to add to the bounce as well. Gonna head over to the Mirage one this time, go into the perks and rims, just load up a bit on some of these perks. And pretty much with the drums on these Spanish beats, it's very important just to keep them simple. As you guys can see, for the first 2 bars on the kick, I'm literally just having 1, 2 and 3 kick hits. That's literally nothing. On the last one, we add 1 more towards the end, just to kind of bounce up the beat a little bit towards the end. But pretty much besides that, it's very simple, structured, and just has that simple bounce. Because the melody is so complicated, we definitely want the melody to kind of ride the whole thing, and the drums to be there just to complement the bounce. Yes, that's perfect. And towards the end, we can have this 808 as well, but honestly, I don't think it's even needed. You can also pitch this down by 7 if it's too high pitched, as long as it's the root note. So this might be cool as well, but we have that bass, so we're just gonna switch it throughout the whole beat. Right, so that's pretty much the beat finished. Now I'm quickly gonna arrange the whole thing, and then we'll take a final listen. Alright, so here we have the full beat. Could have gone a bit more complex on the structure of the whole beat, but because it's a Spanish guitar beat, I just want to keep it simple, make the melody bounce, and pretty much everything just flow. So this is how it sounds.
Shut up, Marco.
So we have that Spanish vocal on the intro right there, just to kind of spice things up a bit, but here it drops. So that's pretty much with the counter melody. Here we have the bass come in, remove the 808. Slowing things down a bit right here, adding a vocal, having the kick and the bass, then we come in with the counter again, and pick back the 808. Yeah, that's definitely fire right there. We'll just have a little bit of a bridge. And then it's just gonna kick back right into the hook again.